Good morning and welcome to Making Peace with Money with your host, Laurie Lamantia, Professor, CPO, and Prosperity Coach. Get ready to master your life and your money, not the other way around. Now, here is your host, Laurie Lamantia.
Good morning and welcome to our show today, which is Lottery Lessons, using the lottery to understand your expectations around money and winning and enjoying the fruits of life. I wanted to explore the concept of playing and winning the lottery for today because I felt it's such a valuable exploration into just how we feel about money, winning, and wanting. And to be honest, I have played the lottery in the last month, and I've been messing around with the experience of playing the lottery and watching all the mind games that I have been doing with myself, so to speak, around winning the lottery, actually buying a ticket, seeing all the expectations build. It's a fascinating journey. And so I was thinking, what if we took our time today and explored all those mental patterns? And I just tell you some of the lessons that I learned while watching myself play the lottery. Because I think a lot of us think that, I could win the lottery and then everything will change. Or we give our wishes and think this would be great if I just win the lottery. And so in a lot of ways, the lottery we use as a fallback for some of us. And then some of us think there's no way I could ever win the lottery, so it's not even in the realm of possibility. But all of that is just a smidge of the mind games that we play around the lottery. And I want to tell you, this all started for me when I was on vacation and watching TV. There was a show on called Lottery Stories, and I was fascinated by this one story about a woman, I'll call her Sandy, whose sister had died of cancer. And, the woman was young, and her sister was young, and her sister had two nieces and two nephews that ended up being scattered across the state that she was living in, Sandy was living in, into foster homes. And Sandy was so distraught, and she just was like, oh my gosh, I have to get my nieces and nephews back together. This is so unacceptable that my family's just been exploded because of this tragedy. And so she decided that I don't know if she decided she was going to win the lottery, but what she ended up doing was one night she wrote on a piece of paper 112,000,000, which is $112 million, and stuck that piece of paper under her pillow. And then 2 weeks later, she won exactly $112 million in the state lottery, exactly. And she ended up buying herself this beautiful home and went about petitioning the courts for custody of her sister's children. And now all four of the children are living with her, and they have every possible wonderful thing that you can imagine. But the most important thing is that they're together and they're a family again. And I just thought, what a great story. And I was like, wow, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to win the lottery. And it just kicked me off into this adventure around the lottery lessons. And so I did that. I decided, I don't need $112 million. I'll just win $85 million. I know this is kind of embarrassing to admit, but it was really fun to get excited about winning the lottery. And, and that is really the first lesson I want to point out, that it's okay to want to win. It's okay to have the desire to have that, oh my gosh, I just won the lottery experience. So the first lesson is that a desire and want are an important part of the creating process. And in fact, the stronger the desire to have that experience, the more powerful. And the thing about Sandy was she really had a strong desire to bring her family together. And it was so strong that her need and desire was a propelling force. It was like an attractive force that was, I think, very seriously intense, because she not only won the lottery, but she got exactly what she wanted, the $112 million. But more importantly, her family together. And so really, on some level, we need to acknowledge that desire is the fuel of creation. It's the fuel of the creation car. It is the gas that fires the creative engine. So it's really important to realize that desire isn't negative. It's a really wonderful, powerful force that helps us zoom forward. And I had strong, there's a lot of reasons why I want to win the lottery, like I'm sure you have. And so I was really getting excited about 85 million, and I even engaged my husband. I'm like, I want to win the lottery. I want us to win the lottery. And I woke up and I was so excited one morning, I dragged him over to White Hen at 6 in the morning and bought my lottery tickets for that week. And so, and I realized it's okay to want that experience. And I gave myself permission to desire and to want, which is really a very powerful lesson. And I want you to think about that too with your creations. Do you give yourself the permission to desire and want what you really want? Are you using that? It feels like a belly power to me. There's that center right in the base of your belly, it's a fire, that creative fire that you let yourself not only think it in your head, oh yeah, wouldn't that be cool, but you start to awaken the desire and you allow the desire. That's a huge part of the creative process. And one of the fun things about going through the lottery lessons, and also, do you really desire to win the lottery? And I think you'll find a fascinating, one of the things I'm going to ask you to do during this thing or after we talk is I would like you to go and try and play the lottery. I want you to play the lottery twice. I want you to play first, just go buy a ticket, and I want you to really want to win and watch all the things that come up in your mind, all the agreements that you have about the lottery, about winning, about deserving, about how you get it. There is just so much, again, baggage that we drag around. And so that really was my next lesson, because after I bought the ticket, all this information started coming to me about what I really think about it and who deserves it. And so on some level, we have to become aware of these rules that we have. And also, it's an opportunity to let go of the beliefs we have about winning the lottery and the things and the rules that we have about having the things that we create. So, looking at the beliefs you might even have about winning the lottery, what are they? Not only about winning, but even playing. I mean, how many people don't even bother playing? I was telling a friend, I'm going to win the lottery. And it's funny when you tell people that, because they look at you twisty-eyed. And I think it's one of the reasons why they tell you not to talk about what you're creating with people who don't really believe in what you're creating, because then you're dealing with their disbelief. Well, no one wins the lottery. And so you start agreeing, well, I guess no one wins the lottery. Or you tell somebody, I'm going to start a new business. Start a new business. Well, that's really hard. I don't want to do that. And so all of a sudden you start getting all this gunk, and I'll call it gunk, out of the people around you. They're well-intentioned, but it's not helpful. It's not helpful towards what you're desiring, what you're envisioning, and what you're agreeing to for yourself. So, I was noticing all these different beliefs that I started hearing from other people and what was going on inside of me, like it's hard to win, the odds are against you, it's gambling and it's wrong, it's a waste of time, the lottery is for desperate people, you need to be lucky in order to win the lottery. And it's funny how people just think, well, other people have luck, but I don't have luck. And again, these are all opportunities to become aware of the things that we've said to ourselves, the rules that we've put on ourselves, the boundaries, the limitations that we've put on ourselves about having what we want and what we want to create. And again, to me, the lesson lottery conversation that we're having right now isn't necessarily about winning the lottery, although I think it's totally cool, and I think, why not, for you and for me and for anyone who wants it. But it's this bigger lesson that I'm going at around what are these rules and beliefs that we have that are limiting or putting a boundary on our good. Because it's out there. It's for us if we choose it. So, and I have to say, as I was going through the list, I was surprised at all the negative stuff that came out around this, that I've been being shown, and how comfortable I am with coming up with the bad stuff first. So I said to myself, okay, well, think of some good things to say about winning the lottery. And I came up with, well, people are winning the lottery every day. I was watching every 2 weeks the lottery, somebody wins the lottery, big money in the lottery, millions of dollars. And and I was like, oh my gosh, every day someone is winning a lottery, just in my little area, but then in my state and then around the country. And I'm thinking, there's a lot of people who are actually winning the lottery. And it's something to really notice because, again, what are you putting your attention, energy, and focus on? Are you noticing the positive of situations or are you noticing the negative of situations? And I was fascinated how comfortable I am with noticing the negative, and I was feeling a little uncomfortable about noticing the positive. But the bottom line is, there are winners out there. People are winning all the time. And there are these amazing winning stories, like of Sandy. Once they've won, they had people's lives change. And I know there's negative stories out there because I did a search, winning the lottery on just a Google search, and the first 4 things came up. Winning the lottery, is it a curse? There's all this negative stuff just floating around, and even if you win the lottery, you don't even really win. But it's so easy to go negative. I want us to go positive. I want us to start to notice and be mindful of choosing the positive aspects about things. And again, for this, it's not so much about winning the lottery, but it is about that feeling of winning the lottery. The feeling, like, oh my gosh, this was so great. This feels so amazing. And of course, the other lesson before we get onto our break is you got to play to win. It reminds me of the story of a farmer who would go to the local church and pray to a saint, and he would say, Saint Lucia, please help me win the lottery. Year after year, it was the same prayer. Saint Lucia, please help me win the lottery. Please help me win the lottery. And finally, after years, the saint got so fed up about hearing this farmer come and wish for him to win the lottery that he finally came to life and dragged the farmer to buy a ticket. This message, you got to play to win, is so important. How many times we don't even show up for our desires. We don't show up for the things we want. We don't take just a little effort with the excitement of winning, the excitement of succeeding, the excitement of things happening, because we're afraid of that letdown. I call it the lottery letdown. But this is your opportunity to notice how you take yourself out of the game before you even play. So again, the lottery lesson, the creative life lesson, you need to play. You got to play to win. You got to get the ticket. You got to try. That's part of our opportunity as souls here on Earth. We got to show up. We use our energy and we play. So after the break, I've got some more lottery lessons for you, and I want you to start thinking about where are you stopping your own winning from happening. Hi, and welcome back. And we're talking about lessons from the lottery. You got to play to win, and learning about the games that we play in our minds and using the lottery to show us what we think, what we really think. And one of the things that I wanted to start this segment out with was talking about how life is always saying yes to us. One of the things we need to realize is with the way the law of attraction and the way life works is it is always saying yes to whatever we are saying. If we think it's impossible to find help for our business find someone who is going to be a great fit and does exactly what we need, the answer is going to be yes. If we think that we can't lose weight, we cannot, then the answer is going to be yes. And I want you to start to notice all the thoughts that you have that the outside, the universe, the law of attraction, the energetic surroundings of you is saying yes to. Because I think you'd be surprised at how many messages you send out that are really negative that are getting the response, okay, if that's what you say, I agree. Meaning, oh, sure, I'd love to, it'd be fun to win the lottery. But but knowing all the while that you know you'll never win. And the answer is yes. That feeling that you have inside of you that you're not going to win is really the answer, the response that you're getting. And so we need to really be mindful of that, not only the story that we're telling, but the belief that we're having. So part of when we say yes, we need to know that we get to decide our story and that other people's opinions and beliefs need not be factored in. And I really want you to notice, because whatever story you're telling, the answer is going to be yes. I'd love to win the lottery, but it's wrong. Or I'd love to win the lottery, but I'm not lucky enough. And the answer is always going to be yes. And it's funny, as you start thinking about this, you'll start talking to people. And in fact, we talked to John Price, and he said the interesting thing is people all of a sudden get the inkling that they should play the lottery, and they play. And the ones who play, they play once, and they just win. They don't put a lot of thought into it. I believe that what's happening is they've had this strong desire for something to happen, and life shows up, and they help them win it helps them win the lottery to answer for whatever this desire they've been having. But the key is that you need to decide the story that you're going to tell. I started talking to people about winning the lottery and playing the lottery, and there's all kinds of stories. Everybody for as many people out there, there's a story. I talked to one woman, and she said, her guru said, be careful, you don't want to win the lottery because you're attracting all the energy of the money that went into the lottery in the first place, which is usually very sad, very desperate. So, 'cause remember, like we've been talking about, money is energy. There's tremendous energy. And I agree. If you just take on the money without thinking about the energy that was put into it, yes, you're taking on all that overhead, that baggage. But we also talked about our money laundering process, how we can transform the energy of money into love, the energy of excitement. We have that creative power, and that's the point. Start telling yourself the story that you have the creative power. You have the power to decide your story, and you have the power to put that story out there and to have life say yes to it. And so, and it's funny because the stories that people tell, life is saying yes to them. The stories on TV, how people's lives are ruined because they won the lottery. They call them lottery disasters, broken marriages, drugs, and ultimately right back where they were before or worse. On some level, I know these stories are fascinating and they're high drama, but why bother agreeing to those stories? Why bother adopting those stories into your cosmology? That is just not a good idea. As a creative powerhouse that you are, agreeing to other people's stories without using your own internal discernment is a mistake because life is always saying yes. So, and by the way, you can use that to your benefit too. There's great stories out there of how people have been winners. Another woman I talked to said she just one day felt the feeling like she should purchase a lottery ticket, and all day she just knew she was going to win. If you're going to focus on a story, you might as well focus on an affirmative story, is the way I look at it. There's this great movie called Just My Luck. It's starring Lindsay Lohan, and Lindsay Lohan in the movie just knew whenever she purchased a lottery ticket, she was going to win. It's just that she just had that knowing. And my dad's like that. He knows that when he plays, he's usually going to win something. He goes to something and he's going to win something. He usually wins. And I think it's not luck. I think luck is us deciding that we're going to be lucky. And my mom, she's like, I'm not all that lucky. And she rarely wins. So is that a self-fulfilling prophecy? I think it is. I really think we decide on how lucky we're going to be because we decide on our story, and life says yes. So, of course, the lesson is, what are you going to agree to for you? What story are you going to tell? And, my advice is making an affirmative one that you want, because the answer is always yes. And the other lesson, the next lesson I want to talk about, was just so powerful to me. I was in yoga and I was meditating about winning the lottery because I thought, you know what, I'll put out that I really want to win. And the message I got back is, you know what, you think winning the lottery is really hard. It's not. It is not. winning the lottery is no harder than attracting a good parking spot. And I'll tell you what, I was like blown away by that. I got this feeling like, oh my gosh, absolutely. Down deep, unconsciously, I was thinking, it's so hard to win $85 million. Why? All you're doing is going to the store, picking up, getting some numbers, and on 5-7 numbers on a ticket. How hard is that? But I have agreed that it's hard. And I think for us, the opportunity is to stop unconsciously agreeing that why isn't it, if I decide I want to have a winning lottery experience, it should be no harder than attracting a good parking spot. And it's funny because on a side note, I think the reason why that came up is because I'm getting very good at finding good parking spots. I'm starting to agree that I'm lucky to find a good parking spot. And as you get comfortable with that and it becomes part of what you've agreed to and are saying yes to, all of a sudden you're going to start feeling that about the other things that you're intending. So, yes, I can attract a good parking spot. Why not $85 million? I know it sounds a little goofy, and of course, here's the opportunity. What story am I going to tell? What am I going to start agreeing to? And I'll tell you what, to be honest, I just get uncomfortable because I think you'll think I'm crazy. I really need to let that go. I need to not worry that, the people outside, the people around me, my friends, or people that don't even know me, think I'm crazy. Yeah, I am crazy. Living life to its fullest and being fulfilled and happy and joyous, it takes a little bit of crazy. So, I guess that's another lesson is be willing to be a little crazy so that you can have the things you want without getting trapped in other people's stories and other people's rules about it. So for the purposes of this conversation that I've just been having, the two key lessons are, one is you need to let go of other people's stories and tell your own story. Tell your own story, the affirmative story about the experience you want to have, whether it's winning the lottery, building a business, starting a family, getting a great relationship. It doesn't matter. Tell the story you want because the answer is always yes. And I wish you'd spend some time thinking about that because it is such a powerful, gorgeous concept. Because I used to assume the answer was always no. When I put a prayer out there, let's say, I used to assume, the answer was always no. Well, why? I think it's because we think, nothing, we don't see our prayers happen. And I think it's because I kept agreeing, it's not going to happen or it's probably not going to happen. And the answer was yes. So I know I don't mean to be too complicated, but really this is an opportunity to tell the story that you want and have it be said yes to, and not agree that winning the lottery or having what you desire is difficult. There is, from the universal perspective, with all the power that can be magically created, winning the lottery is like making a cake to the universe. It's no big deal. It's a big deal to us. But in the great cosmic scheme of things that has made bodies and universes and planets and, trees and forests, winning the lottery is like pittance on the scale of difficulty. So just take that into your mind as you think about, it's nearly impossible for me to win the lottery. Why? Who says? Why believe it? Why give in to not having that experience because you think it's impossible? It might not be so possible for you, but it's not impossible for you to say it's possible for the great scheme of things to make it happen. And another thing about that is if you desire it that much, life desires it for you. Again, the answer is always yes. So with that wonderful desire, use that to attract to you what you want. There's nothing wrong with having a desire. And if you desire to be at peace with money, the answer is always yes. The answer is yes, you will be at peace with money. So after the break, I've got a couple more lessons, and then I've got some homework for you. So stick around with them. Hi, and we're talking about using the lottery to learn the lessons of how we might be getting in our own way about getting the things that we want and experiencing the things that we are creating. And I've been talking about all these mind games that we play, and the lottery is such an excellent little microcosm to show you this macrocosm of how you might not be working the most effectively with yourself to enjoy what you're creating and have the fulfillment of what you're creating. And so one of the other lessons that I think is really important is to realize that winning the lottery is a feeling. A lot of times we think it's about actually winning, getting the money. But what we do as a part of the creative process, what we need to learn how to do is what I call is feel-ize. It's feel and visualize the experience and be in that place where we are using our imagination to evoke an emotion and a feeling within ourselves like it's already happened, like it's a done deal. And I hope that makes sense because that sentence was a huge nugget of how we create. We have the idea, we have a thought, we have a desire, it percolates in our body, and then we sit or jump around, that's totally legitimate too, in the excitement that it's already done. That, I can't wait, this is going to be so fun, I'm having so much fun. I am really enjoying myself in the place of it already being done. Because again, the answer is always yes. And so if you're saying someday, the answer will be yes. Oh, won't it be, maybe it'll happen. The answer will be yes. But when we start to get clearer about being in the place of it already is happened, and we use our imagination, and this is the key. I think our imaginations are the most underused tool of our existence, because we're so busy looking at reality and just saying, oh, well, that's the way it is, and we don't engage our imaginations and say, that's what I choose. That's what your imagination is. It is the most powerful creative tool you have, but most of us are just not using it. So I want you to learn and use your power tool called your imagination to feel and visualize, feelize that winning feeling. And I want you to feel it now. Can you feel it now? How would you feel if you knew you were going to win the lottery? For me, it was like, oh man, I feel so free. I feel empowered. I felt relaxed and peaceful. What a wonderful feeling to give yourself permission to be in that excited, joyous, wow, amazing state. When we're in that, the response from the universe is yes, send her more of that, give her more of that. So that feeling of winning the lottery and playfulness is so amazing to help create that experience, whether it's actually winning the lottery or feeling like you won the lottery. And I have a story of a friend of mine. One of my wonderful friends was wishing for a way to connect with her husband. Because she was feeling like they were spending, like a lot of people, you spend so much time running around in maintenance mode and life mode that we don't really have quality time together. And so she was really wishing for something to come along and help them have more of a connection and more intimate time, more time for each other to renew their relationship. And then, out of the blue, her brother called and asked her if she and her husband would be their guest for a week at their timeshare at a vacation spot at a luxury resort in sunny Mexico. All expenses paid. And my friend called me beside herself. She was like, you cannot believe what just happened. She was just so excited. She said she told me the story, and she said she felt like she just won the lottery. And that's the key. That's the winning the lottery feeling that you're after. And I asked her, I go, do you think were you creating winning the lottery? And she's like, I was wishing for something that felt like winning the lottery. I don't know that she wouldn't have said that she was wishing to win the lottery, because there our brains go. We hook onto, I better go buy a ticket because that's the only way I'm going to have that feeling. And the answer is absolutely no. That you can get that feeling from 1,000 different ways. That I just won the lottery feeling if you look back at your life, how many different times? It could be going to the store and finding something that you've been wanting, and it's sitting right there on the shelf. That's like, to me, sometimes it's like winning the lottery. Sometimes something great will happen, and I'll be like, wow, I just feel like I won the lottery. So it's interesting how we get, again, another rule about how we're going to get that winning the lottery feeling. The lesson is let go of that rule that we have about getting that lottery feeling and just focus and realize in on that feeling and see how magical, how that creates and what it creates. And then, of course, the opportunity is to notice, like my friend, oh my gosh, that feels like I just won the lottery. And that same friend, we were at IKEA, and she was buying some dishes, and they were on super sale. And it's like I just won the lottery. It's weird. Then all of a sudden, all these experiences, that's the law of attraction really in operation. Once you get the momentum going, of feeling like you win the lottery and you have another experience and another experience, all of a sudden your mind says, you know what, look at all this data. Here's proof that I am a winner. I win the lottery all the time in a whole gazillion different ways. And that's how you go from dead stop to moving and picking up momentum, and then all of a sudden, a year, 2 years later, you're like, of course I'm lucky. I win the lottery all the time, and it's just the way you live. That's how we go about creating our reality. And if you use your imagination, notice, feel in, notice some more, let the universe say yes, you will also have that momentum created for you. And the other thing I want to point out to you, and this is an interesting lesson, is that you have already won the lottery. Now, before you tell me, Lori, you are batty again, I want you to know that we keep looking at life like humans, like a soul having a human experience, or humans every once in a while having a soul experience. We are souls having a human experience. Well, on Earth, we have the illusion of time. But beyond the Earth, there is no such thing. Everything is in parallel. So all possibilities are sitting right on top of each other. I look at it like a parallel universe, I call it, reality is more like a ham sandwich. All the pieces of reality are layered on top of each other, every possible outcome. So me winning the lottery is layered on top of me almost winning a lottery, is layered on top of me never winning the lottery, is layered on top of me winning a little bit in the lottery. All those possibilities are stacked up on top of each other like paper, a pack of paper. And what I want you to start to realize is with your imagination, you get to go in and pick which paper you want to pull out. So why not pull out the one where you're a crazy winner? And so that's what I'm talking about, that you've already won the lottery. All the possibilities are already in the field of intelligence, and we draw them to us by putting our attention, energy, and focus on them. So why not pull out the super winner experience? All is already created. So you don't have to beg to win the lottery. You have to choose to have that lottery-winning experience. And what if you gave yourself permission to agree that that feeling and experience as the experience of winning the lottery is already a done deal? What if it's not if, but when? How would you act then? And I'm telling you that realizing that you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I am so grateful. All of a sudden, you switch from, oh no, to thankfulness, gratefulness. And that's why they say the greatest prayer is thank you. Because for a master creator, we know it's already done. It's already sitting there, and we just say, yes, please, thank you, I'll have more of that. So really, when you start to switch over and realize that you're a soul having a human experience, you already winning the lottery or you already experiencing your creation is already in the field of possibilities. There's that great quote, before you have asked, I've already answered. I used to always, again, think the answer was no. The answer is yes. It's already all sitting there. It's already all been created. Access it. Choose it. Imagine it. Agree to it. And then you'll start to notice it being fulfilled into your experience. Why would you have a desire if there wasn't already the ability for the universe to fulfill it, for the law of attraction to bring it to you, for you to use your creative power to make it happen? Of course, because what you desire desires you. And so can you feel the energy difference between I will never win and I am already winning? I've already won the lottery. I am so excited. Think about that as you think about your creations. They're already done. Now use your imagination and pull them to you out of the infinite field of possibility. That's what Einstein was trying to teach us, and that's what we need to learn, grow, and develop in ourselves. So after the break, I've got some homework for you, and I also have one more lesson that I want to tell you about that I think you're really going to find valuable. Okay, so we're talking about lottery lessons, and you're probably wondering, okay, Lori, did you win the lottery or not? And the answer, I have to admit, is no, I did not win $85 million yet. And I give you a big yet. And so after I got my ticket and I looked up the numbers and I didn't even match one, of course, I had the huge lottery letdown. And you're probably thinking, I knew it, see? What is she talking about for a whole hour? She's messing around with lottery lessons and she didn't win. I did. I had that letdown of really wanting something and getting all charged and juiced and excited and then not getting it. And so I want to honor that, and that does happen. And I think what the opportunity is and continues to be for me is to integrate these lessons, grow from them, learn from them, and of course keep playing. I can't give up. Any dream that you have, you must keep going. And this is the hard thing for us as humans. Learning how to coalesce energy and pull things out of the ethers sometimes is easy and it happens quickly, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer. And I think about building a business. Sometimes it takes a little bit to a lot longer than you think it would. And success happens not in huge, giant increments sometimes. Sometimes it happens in small, smart, little successes. But are you going to throw the whole business out? Am I going to throw my whole lottery desire out with the bathwater because I didn't win that one time? Yeah, a lot of times people do. And I'm encouraging you not to do that. I am not giving up on my dream to win the lottery. And, of course, my point was, and here's the lesson, be empowered and don't use the lottery to deal with what you need to deal with. I think it was important that I didn't win the money, actually, because I saw how I was using the lottery winnings to buy me out of and mentally bail me out of the issues in my life that I had not been wanting to deal with or I didn't think I could deal with. And that, of course, is just not cool, and it's a really big mistake. So I was actually using the lottery to buy myself out of dealing with the things that I need to deal with. And you can win the lottery, absolutely, but don't use the lottery as an excuse or a way out of dealing with your life issues. Money does not buy courage. It does not buy empowerment or personal worth. Actually, I think it delays the development of these. So if you're hoping to use the lottery money to buy your way out of something that you haven't courageously been dealing with, don't go there. Not winning that $85 million showed me specifically where I was not being courageous in my life, where I was being disempowered, where I had given up trying to fix and deal with and grow and develop an area in my life, and I was giving my power away to the money, to winning the lottery. And this is exactly, in a nutshell, where we get into trouble with money. We think we can buy our way out of the things that the experiences in life that help grow us into the powerful, knowledgeable, impressive people we are. So I really am grateful I didn't win the lottery. At some point, I know I will, but it won't be to Band-Aid a problem. It will be to as just a life enhancement. So that was another very valuable lesson. So I wanted you to give you some homework and think about using the lottery as a microcosm to teach yourself and to share with yourself some really key pieces of how you think about life. So go and purchase a lottery ticket and do it with great awareness. Use the lottery experience as information gathering as to what you're agreeing to with respect to enjoying the things you desire, with respect to desiring, and check in and see all the different thoughts that run through your mind and ask yourself, do these need to be true for me? Do you think, well, it's wrong to play the lottery? Well, because you've seen other people be abusive. Does that need to be true for you? Do you need to be abusive of it, or do you just see it as another play toy of life? Notice how you feel about winning, about receiving, about allowing, about enjoying. These are all hiding under the surface, and a lot of us don't even go there because we don't want to play the lottery. We don't even want to dig in and go into the ugly underbelly of it. But that's one of the things that I found so valuable was buying the ticket and courageously looking at all that gunk that was hiding under what do I really think, and why am I holding back my good? And to be honest, for me, I'm still working on this too, and it's been a great journey of learning and understanding, especially when it comes to notice how I give my power away to an outside source. I mean, on some level, I wondered, well, who's deciding if I should win the lottery? I assume, it's outside of my realm of control, and that's what that meditation was telling me. It's no harder to create a winning lottery ticket as a parking spot, Lori. Let it go. And, of course, my wondering if I'm good enough, if I've created powerfully enough. I have my inadequacy issues. I'm putting it out there. I fully admit it. But I'm learning, and that's the key. It's all about this grace of getting real information that shows us, brings us face to face with these mistaken agreements we have. You are powerful. You can do this. And I think that's what our souls want us to know, that we are amazing, and everything in life shows up to either agree with that or show us how we've forgotten it. The second piece of homework I want you to do is ask friends how they feel about the lottery. And one, really listen to their stories and see how the stories affect you. And two, notice if you're agreeing to them without discernment. So, when you listen to them, just say, oh, well, that's their story, not mine. I also want you to notice that people are winning every day. It's possible, so why not you? Remember, people are winning money, finding money, enjoying fulfillment every minute of every day, and why can't that be you? Of course it can. The other thing I want you to do is realize that and look and see, how have you been avoiding dealing with something by using the lottery as a Band-Aid and dealing directly with whatever issue needs addressing? So here you might actually need to look at why you wanted to win the lottery, and are you not being courageous, or are you avoiding dealing with something and just trying to buy your way out of trouble? Another wonderful lesson that comes from doing the lottery examination. And finally, spend some time realizing winning the lottery and feeling that lottery experience. Like, oh my gosh, I feel like I just won the lotto, because life has so many ways to give us that wow feeling. I just won the lottery. From finding a great piece of jewelry to having an unexpected trip show up, and from somebody. You never know where that feeling of winning the lottery came from. Not just winning the actual ticket, but having the experience of, oh my gosh, I just won the lottery. And just start to notice how when you decide you're going to win the lottery, how many gazillion different ways you start feeling like you really won the lottery. And isn't that the cool thing? To remember, it's a feeling you're going for, and the experience comes. So I'm hoping that you'll give yourself this time to go buy a lottery ticket and play the game, not only of seeing, of winning and giving yourself permission to win, but also go and play the game of learning about how you have been possibly holding back your good by using the lottery as a great teaching tool, the tool of teaching yourself so many different things about yourself that you might not have realized or understood because you've been afraid to play. You got to play to win. And I guarantee you, if you play, you will win in so many different ways. And money is just going to be possibly a small outcome of the winning that you're going to get from playing. So I wish you a lot of winning and enjoyment. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. Live long and prosper.